there's really only 4 people
You
in
can go ahead
here.
and sit right here.
Okay.
We're just gonna have Cody and McVeigh, have you, they're gonna ask you questions, so that way it's not as aggressive. And then we'll
Okay.
just be taking notes for you.
Okay.
And
Yeah, you guys can be aggressive if you
this
want.
is the team.
Hi, team.
The law firm. Hi, I'm David McVeigh.
Nice to meet you.
This is Cody. He'll be assisting
Nice
with
to
this
meet
interview.
you. God, your handshakes are also
Hi,
great.
neighbor.
Nice to meet you.
So, getting in here, pretty easy to find our location. I know you were here once before, but
Yes.
parking was good. I know sometimes it can be a challenge out there.
Yes, thank you.
So, Ms. Donaldson, if you don't mind, I'd like to just learn a little bit more about you. Do you have kids? Are you married? Do you live close by? Are you in the area?
I don't have kids because I'm really lazy, so that was a no. Not married, same excuse, lazy. And then, do I live by? Yes.
Oh, so you're from the area? From Alfred?
Yes.
Okay. Just to explain a little bit of the interview process with us, me and Cody are going to be asking some questions why you're here, what you're looking for us to help you with. We did get some background information that was provided from the first time that we're here, some reviews, and we'll go over some of that information that we received. I just want to encourage you to share all the facts with us, good facts, bad facts, things that you may think might hurt your case. The reality is, for us to do a good job of assessing the strength of your case is to know both sides. And then also, sometimes the other side is going to be pushing us with discovery, and they're going to be trying to get some facts out as well. So please feel free to share anything, whether you think it hurts or helps. And then we'll just work through it as a group, and we'll work to develop the strongest case for you and try and get the results that you're looking for. Okay. That said, we understand that you were wrongfully terminated from your position. What are you seeking? Are you interested in being reemployed with Empire? Is that something you're interested in? Would you be willing to work for, I believe it's Richard Jackson again, if he remained there as your supervisor? Are those some things you'd be considering? Or are you looking more for a monetary compensation for this termination?
Yeah, I would like to be compensated. I don't think I should go back. I mean, it's very clear that everyone was very jealous of me.
Yeah.
So I'm not there anymore. So I don't think that'll be a good environment to return to.
Okay, can you expand upon why you think your coworkers or the people at Empire are jealous?
I mean, I think it's because I just kind of climbed the ladder so fast, and I mean, obviously this is how I look. And I just think that, you know, everyone can tell that I'm like that person that could like run that place, you know.
Yeah, I had seen from your earlier performance evaluations that you've been receiving excellent evaluations until Mr. Jackson became the city manager.
Right.
So you think that it's likely you appeared as a threat as somebody who came in and rose up so quickly.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think Mr. Jackson probably could tell from hello that like, you know, I weren't gonna let go out or anything. Maybe that's, you know, an issue too. But I don't know. But either way.
Okay. Well, since I saw on the record that you found an employment opportunity elsewhere, how long was the gap between your previous job and how long were you out of employment or underemployed?
I think it was maybe like right around a month.
Okay.
And I found a job that only pays $25 a year, which I feel like I could live on, right? And it was through a temp agency, so I mean, is it really a job?
Okay. So the current job that you're holding right now, there's no guarantee of any type of permanence with it. It's temporary in
I don't think I'm
nature.
gonna permanently make 25,000, so it's gonna be a no for me.
That said, too, the benefits. Now, at your current job, are the benefits much lower as well? I mean, are you currently on insurance?
No,
Or do you
I
need?
don't have anything. And then I'm through a temp agency, so that's temporary. You typically do not get benefits when you're a temporary employee.
Okay.
And I have no desire to be like hired in. I mean, not making $25,000, so I just see it as something to do to kind of like maintain for the moment, but
Okay.
certainly it's not my like goals.
Now, are you thinking about continuing on in this industry, in this career, or do you think that Mr. Jackson has done anything? I saw in the report that there was an assertion that maybe he had talked to the temp agency personnel, the manager there, and may have indicated that you
Yeah.
weren't a quality candidate.
Well, he made some very defamatory remarks to her, which is why that, they could only get me a $25,000 job because, no one paying more than that wants to bring in someone who clearly isn't a great employee from, the words of their last employee, their last employer.
Do you know what specifically he said? Is there any record, text messages, emails?
He said something to the effect that I was like a terrible employee, and basically he wasn't happy to have me.
Okay.
So that's shitty.
Did Sandy disclose this with you, Ms. Hoffman from the temp agency? Did she disclose that he made those comments?
In so many words, she basically said, I can't really get you anything great because of your last employer and their remarks concerning your performance.
Okay. Okay.
So, why don't you, just so we have a full picture, because we did get a copy of the performance review from Mr. Jackson, and he didn't have some very nice things to say. So,
Correct.
let's walk through just your last 30 days of employment. What happened? What did he say to you? What all led up to the firing other than the transgression that he alleged?
Well, I think so from my perspective, what the feeling was up to that point was just that he didn't like me, he thought my work was shit, he was always complaining about like every task I did, like I'm doing it wrong, or unsatisfactory, is that how you pronounce that? And he just wasn't happy with anything I did, even though everything I did was exactly like the manager at the other location who trained me and who I worked underneath for 2-3 years, and so that didn't make sense. And I also found out that he wasn't making those same comments to that other manager. So we're doing things the same way, like making it sense. Like, why
Yeah.
am I a problem?
So when he was making the complaints to you, did he offer any guidance or feedback for how you could do it a way that would make him leave you alone?
She didn't.
No, he just yelled at you and didn't give you any feedback to help you improve?
I mean, what was he gonna get? I was doing the job exactly like his star player.
Interesting. Was the star player also a female, or was the star player male?
He was a male, and so
Sounds about right.
maybe he made them, I don't know, feel.
Is John Kinney the star? Is that the the manager of the other location?
Yeah, he would be considered
In
the
Richard
star
Jackson's
to
mind.
Jackson's eyes. Even though, I mean, you know, that's just what he's giving off. Clearly, he knows I'm the star, right? Which is why I don't want to be there. Because he knows that it's possible that one day I'll have his job. I mean, I could have had it. I don't even know why they picked him. So really, I feel like the whole company's full of haters. And for that reason, choose why I'm gonna go back. Because I mean, it's giving everyone's a hater, right?
Yeah.
The president and
So along with being fired, you also feel you were unjustly looked over for a promotion.
yeah, absolutely. Like, why would you go outside the house when everything you need is inside the house?
Right.
That's
Especially with somebody with as good performance reviews as you have.
silly.
Okay.
Makes me wonder.
Were there any training materials or any manuals that are around for the work that you're supposed to be doing so you could just do it by the actual book?
That's a good question. And because I moved up so fast and like kept getting a new position, I don't know that I was like giving some fresh edition. You know what I mean? It's more.
Here's your new role, this is what you
Yeah,
do.
it's more of kind of like mom pop ran. So it's like, oh, you know, you can do this. I'm gonna have you start doing this, and so just gonna train you. And most of the stuff you know anyway. So yeah, I don't know about like an official. I mean, I know I have like a thing, you know, a book of what not to do, company policy, but a book, you know, something that tells me exactly how to do my job. I'm gonna say no.
It's good to know, so no formal standard operating procedures.
I don't think so, guys. Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe something you want to check into, but my recollection, I'm gonna say no.
So since we're talking about standard procedure and you were not the one who wrote this rental contract, is it normal for management to approve rental contracts that somebody else wrote? Why, do you know anything along that line? Because he said that you authorized it.
I mean, yeah, the manager can always tell someone, hey, give this person a break, whatever, or, which is the only way that they would be able to do it because, you know, employees are not supposed to do that, have the ability to do that. But like, as the manager, if I want to give someone a discount, I could do that. But you know, even with that, you know, the employees, are encouraged to like get those cars rented by all means.
Yeah.
So there's some wiggle room within that too, because do you want them to do it by any means, or do you want them to not give anybody a deal, right? When they don't want to do the deal without the deal. That makes sense.
Right.
So.
So with the specific contract that is the reason for firing, do you remember anything specific about the actual renting other than the contract was handed to you to look at?
So it was never handed to me to look at, but I was present when it was being written because the person it was the car was being rented to was someone that I went to college with. So you could call her a college classmate. I haven't seen her since college, so we were
Not a
actually-
friend.
First off, she is not very cute, so no, she's not one of my friends. But you know, I went to college with her, so I
Yeah.
know her. It would be very rude to see somebody you went to college with and not be like, hey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, what are you doing?
But she's not a
now?
close
Good to see
personal
you."
friend.
I
You
don't
didn't
have
tell
her
her to come
number.
down.
We don't text. I don't call her and wish her happy birthday. I don't know when her birthday is.
Just happened to be your agency or your rental place that she walked into.
happened to see this girl on some coincidence. Right?
Okay. And did the agent that rented the vehicle observe you interacting with her? Did he just see you say,
Yeah.
hey, how you going?
Yeah, I mean, we're standing right in front of him.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah. And I remember being like, yeah, I went to college with her, take care of her. You know what I mean? Like, you know.
Just no one's,
Make sure you give her
didn't
good
give
customer
explicit
service.
instructions to do the unlimited mileage. You just said take care of her the way that they normally would somebody who they're trying to, take
I
care
wouldn't,
of.
yeah, do that for anyone, let alone her. Like, just went to college with her.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, went to college together, I assume she can pay whatever they were asking for, you know what I'm saying?
So Chris Steele, the gentleman that did, is take that, write up that contract. Is he still with the organization?
I don't know, but he's an idiot.
So how was your relationship with Chris?
It was fine.
Okay.
I'm always, you know, pleasant, respectful, cordial to everyone.
And what about Chris's relationship with Richard Jackson? Were they close in any way, shape, or form?
Did you ever see them go to lunch together more than every once in a while?
I can't say that I did.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, I really feel like Richard just used Chris to come up with this whole bullshit that he's doing, and Chris probably doesn't even know this is going on.
Okay.
Oh, so you don't think the city manager, Richard Jackson, came to Chris about this or went through any type of
Did you even talk to Chris about it and ask what
I don't
happened?
think, because why would Chris just give out like a blatant lie?
Right.
That
Yeah.
doesn't make sense, and I didn't know that to be his character when I was working. I mean, you know, like I said, we were both always respectful and cordial and pleasant to each other. He had no reason to like be in cahoots with someone to get moved on. And yeah, I think he made all that up. He probably told Chris after it was done, like, hey, this is, or maybe he didn't. Because Chris is just an agent. Like, why would he, you know, really ask him, like, hey, why am I gone or something like that? He probably doesn't feel like he can put it in. But who knows? Maybe they go to lunch together every day at 3 a.m.
Did you end up getting a copy of that contract before you departed? Was there?
I think he did provide me with that, or either showed it to me when I was being fired.
Okay.
I can't, so I don't have it in my possession,
Okay.
but I'm not saying that I never received it.
Okay. If you do come across it in any of your documents, that's definitely something we'd love to have a copy of.
Absolutely.
I do see you have a stack of papers. Did you bring something for us?
Just more notes for myself. You know, just trying to put things together in my head. But let me take a look and just make sure.
Double check everything you brought.
Nothing in here is for you all. Oh, I do have my personnel manual.
Oh, good.
You guys want that?
Yeah, let's just take a look and see if it's anything specific.
And then surprise, surprise, I have my annual reviews
Oh, perfect.
and my termination letter.
So,
So yeah.
I do want to take a look. Let's talk about this termination procedure, because I do
Okay.
see it is a 3-step procedure. Did you get the first 2 steps, or were you just fired? Were you given a written
I
warning?
like you. No, I was not given a talk or a write-up or anything. I just got called in one day like, hey, you're fired.
Okay. and he didn't give you any time to improve the criticisms that he made of you, seeing as how they weren't formally laid out to you anyway?
No, shocker, right?
Okay.
Just fired.
Okay, that's not great, but that's great for us to know.
It is very grateful.
And then there's also an office manager profit sharing plan in here. Were you receiving the profit sharing in your position as the manager, or do you remember?
I do not remember receiving that.
Okay, because it does say that commissions shall be 20% of the office profitability for the calendar year. So it sounds like along with lost wages, you're also missing some profit sharing that you were entitled to.
Yes, because I was kicked out of the door with nothing, and I did not receive my commission for the year, for the time I've been there that year. And I didn't get a severance. I just didn't get shit. He just put me out.
And they didn't have like a COBRA plan or some type of medical care extension? Is that
Something to
kind
get
of-
you that 30 days of insurance.
They didn't give a shit.
Okay.
It's really messed up, right? You give a company all those years, and then you just, some new guy comes, and just because you don't want to go have drinks with them, and just because you really should have this job, and if you keep going, you probably will, and he knows that, then you're just out the door.
So did Mr. Jackson approach you in a way, like asking you out for drinks that you felt was beyond just a standard coworker kind of circumstance or situation?
No, but he would give me winks, so I knew that, there was some attraction there.
So
That's
do you
all.
think that did he ever explicitly ask you out to after work drinks?
Nope.
Okay.
Now, if you could go a little bit into more detail, so your interactions with Mr. Jackson, he was at a different location as the city manager. How frequent were those interactions between you and Mr. Jackson?
Oh my God, he was like making a point to come to our location like every day.
Every day. Did you
Yeah.
ask him if he went to any of his other locations that often?
I didn't. I don't know how he would have time because he was always at my ass complaining about what I was doing.
So,
Yeah.
And I noted in the report that you believe that there's an element of bias about your being a female.
Mhm.
Now, is that exclusively with Mr. Jackson, or do you think that's kind of a company-wide issue?
Could be some company culture going on there. Because, I think of it this way. The president, he hired Mr. Jackson. He knew that I wanted the job. I'm trying to figure out why he wouldn't be loyal to me, who, climbed the ladder, learned everything, had awesome performance reviews every year. Doesn't make sense why he would not put me in that position. Other than maybe he doesn't think a woman belongs in that position.
That also brings me to Miss Lou Smith, the lady that trains you. Now, she left that company. Did she ever express why she left the company? Or if she had issues with the owner or Mr. Jackson?
Sorry, I thought Lou was a man. she was just a handsome woman. But, yeah, no, she didn't say.
Okay.
She just, I got the sense that she just had other things in her life that she wanted to do. I don't know, maybe be home with her family.
So probably more of a personal choice than a professional.
Yeah, more of a good way to put it.
Okay.
Yeah.
When Mr. Jackson's position came open, did they do a formal application process for you? Did you just sit down and talk with the president and let him know you were interested in it? Do you remember anything about how that went?
Yeah, I just talked to him, let him know that I was interested. He's like, okay, I have no doubt that you could do that job. You know, let me think about it. And then all of a sudden, Dummy gets hired.
Okay.
And it's so.
And do you know if Mr. Jackson and the president of the company had any previous knowledge of each other? Or do you know, are they friends? Did they go to college together?
That's a good question.
No idea. Okay. But we'll find that out.
Yes, that's a great question.
And have you observed Mr. Jackson's interactions with any other female employees? Did he speak to them as negatively as he spoke to you?
Well, since I was the only female at my location, I wouldn't know.
No, you didn't notice him at any like manager meetings, interacting with anyone other than you.
No.
So, would you say currently the composition of the business is predominantly male at this point in time?
Yeah. I mean, everyone in a position of power is a male.
And then the notes that we got from your first meeting said that Mr. Jackson believed you needed to develop your leadership qualities, but again, he didn't give you any feedback on that as well. He just was critical, same as he was for your actual job performance.
He said what?
Did he give you tips to improve your leadership qualities, or did he just make criticisms like he did with your work?
Correct.
Okay.
He did not give me any feedback on anything, and again, it is my belief because he couldn't. I
'Cause
mean,
he was just talking at you, wasn't he?
listen, the manager of the other location who trained me, taught me everything I know, he's great, that's why he's never complained
Yeah.
about anything. So there was nothing for him to say to me, so it's really giving, you don't like me, you don't want me here.
Yeah, from everything we've discussed so far, I would say that your feelings are not unjustified there.
And John Kinney, the star at the downtown office, are your numbers similar? Like at your location, was the performance level similar, comparable to the city's location?
You know, I don't know, I don't check for other people, I mind the business that pays me, you know what I'm saying? That type of help.
Okay.
So I'm not really worried about what people are doing, I don't check what other people are doing, I don't have time, I really only have time to like worry about what I'm doing.
Okay.
I'm like exhausted after that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. What I'm interested in is if you guys have similar reviews, and we don't have access to Kinney's reviews.
Yes, I wouldn't know. All I know is from talking to Mr. Kinney that he hasn't had any complaints. He's like, he hasn't made any complaints. He's happy with my work. He hasn't said anything to me. Guess it's just you.
Okay.
Ms. Donaldson, I'm gonna interrupt for a second. Can you walk us through what happened on the day that Dana came for the rental agreement? Can you just tell us what happened that day? If, whatever you can remember.
think I was coming back from lunch. I walked in the front door. There was Dana, being her unattractive self. She was talking to, what's his face?
Your rental agent.
Mm-hmm. She was talking to him. And then we were like, oh, hey, you know, one of those.
Just a hi, how are you?
Yeah, real fake, real mindful. Real demure, right? And so then I got the impression that they were kind of like at the end part of the contracting. So we were talking, I guess he was finishing up the paperwork. And then I was like, all right, you know, good to see you. And I said to the agent, it's my classmate from college, take care of her. And I went to my office and, you know, went about my day.
So did you sign off on her contract at all?
I didn't even see her goddamn contract. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
And then one more follow up to that. Whenever you do give, because like you said, you got to take care of people if they're going to take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Other times where you've offered deals that require your acceptance of outside of the normal rate, is it normally just a hey, take care of this person, or is there more follow up with you and the agent?
There's a, hey, waive all the mileage for this person.
It's specified.
Just take care of this person could be like,
Be nice to them.
don't, right. But to actually give someone a discount or any type of monetary benefits, that's to be spelled out. I would also initial on that contract, you know, probably next to the mileage that I waived it. Like, I'm not gonna just be like, take care of her. I don't even know this girl. That's what I'm saying. I just wouldn't do that for her. Probably wouldn't do it for anybody because it could take away from my commission.
That's understandable.
You know what I'm saying?
Fair.
So,
Do you know how Mr. Jackson established that you guys knew each other? As far as, you know, his assertions are that, you know, that you gave her this discount because she's an acquaintance. Is Mr. Jackson, was he there that day?
he wasn't there, so how do you know that?
It's very interesting. Because
Did
I'm
you call her and
concerned.
say, and how do you verify that?
Yeah, I'm just concerned that, you know, most of the time in a normal employee circumstance, you move up the chain of command. So if anybody, you know, such as Chris Steele, was concerned about this at all, which seems odd because he drafted it, if someone felt like there was something going wrong at your office, you would think that they would bring that directly to you before, you know, jumping over you. Is there any employees at your, or former employees at that location that you think were kind of working against you in any way, shape, or form?
I don't,
Or
and
disgruntled?
like I said, I don't think Chris was involved.
Okay.
I think Dummy put this whole thing together, dropped Chris' name in there, and that's what happened. And yeah, they could just, you know, call this lady as a witness, even though she's not gonna be appealing to their eyes. But they could just call her, and they could just ask her how we know each other.
Okay.
It's not a big deal. I don't know, we don't know each other. Just went to school together. She doesn't know my middle name.
She doesn't even know your middle name.
So
Does she know your last name?
maybe,
Hopefully.
maybe not. I doesn't know how to spell it right. We're not friends.
And when you brought that to Richard Jackson, when you explained to him, you know, that you don't have a deep connection with this individual, and he's making these assertions that you're cutting her a deal, how did he respond to that
He was
information?
like, you're fine.
Just
Yeah, I don't want to hear that shit from you. Shut up.
Didn't
Get
give you
out.
any chance to explain.
I
Just
told him, and he's like, all right, so have a good day.
Extremely dismissive, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I saw that your reviews prior to Mr. Jackson were very good. Some of them, I think one of them was actually done by the owner, Dale Carpenter.
Later.
And so your relationship with Dale Carpenter, at least from looking at the record, seemed like it started out well. When did things change?
You tell me. No loyalty.
so it sounds like up until Richard was hired, you were having a great experience at the company.
I was having a good time. I was making my points. No one was bothering me. I wasn't bothering anyone else. It was none of my business like I always do. So I'm just really confused as to how that whole thing happened. They could have just told me they don't like me. It's not a big deal. Everyone doesn't like you. Right?
Right.
But
Not
like,
everyone's cup of tea.
you don't have to like mess up my whole like financial state, emotional state, mental state. Like you just,
Kind of uprolled your whole life.
yeah, you just like ruined my life for like nothing. And now, like, I'm pretty much in poverty. And that can't be right. Right?
No, that's not right.
So about that, I mean, financially currently, are you able to make ends meet? Do you need any type of additional support? Have you?
I need additional support. I'm barely pulling this thing together. Yeah.
Have you applied for any type of Medicaid or any type of assistance? Is there anything that perhaps our office could help you with some paperwork to get you in a place where you're going to be at least close to your living standard?
You guys could win this case for me. And then in the meantime, I am currently looking for someone's grandpa. And that should sustain me until then.
Hopefully, anyway. Just make sure you pick a young grandpa.
No, I cannot. So does it, are you guys like thinking I have?
It definitely sounds like you have some kind of employment discrimination case. We will have to look a little further into the applicable state law. With the amounts that you have lost from this employment, I would think that we should be able to obtain some kind of monetary if we win. Do you have any specific amount that you want us to try to get for you?
So I was fired in what, September?
Mm-hmm.
So I would like the salary that I would have made from September until now. And then I would like, and that includes commission, and then I would like some type of, I think you guys might call it like punitive, right?
Yeah, something
Damages.
to make sure he's not going to be allowed to do this again.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you let someone go due to, you know, their gender or their race or, you know, any other reason besides their work performance, then you should have to give them something for uprooting their life and causing them mental stress. Like, I hadn't been to therapy in years before this happened. I'm back in therapy, which I cannot afford.
Right, especially without insurance.
Hence why I have to now go out and find a grandpa. So this is not right. And I just feel like there should be some punishment for just ruining someone's life like that for no reason. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they don't have me on video camera telling this guy to waive this girl's mileage.
It's just a single paper trail item.
So, I mean, can you provide some further proof besides? And there's no way that Chris kid is gonna get on the stand and lie. There's just no way. So,
Also, with those damages that we're seeking, do you want an apology? Would you like them to
I think Chris
provide you?
has an apology.
Okay.
You just want what you're owed, or feel like you're owed.
I want them to compensate me for what they put me through.
No, that seems totally
And for
reasonable.
uprooting my life for nothing by any fault of mine.
Do you think that you'd like to see them go through or be required to go through some type of workplace equal opportunity, employment,
I really don't
training?
give a shit about the next person.
Okay.
They didn't do it for me. It's done. No, sorry, I'm not.
And do you, I know you said the owner, Dale Carpenter, kind of just is a trader and switched course. So I was just curious if with your insight, if you thought there was any way that you think we could resolve this simply by having a conference and talking to Dale, or do you think that they're gonna push back against any type of,
You know, you worked with him for so long. Do you think he would be able to settle this with us over the phone, or do you think he's going to give us trouble?
You're asking me if I think Dale is going to,
Is he going to want to take it to court? Is what we're getting.
I don't know, because apparently I don't know him.
Okay.
okay. So you feel so distanced from
I
him
did, but
that you, okay.
I have no idea. I mean, he's always been a very, like, to me, sensible man, reasonable, fair, but again, that's what I thought I knew, but now,
And have you heard from him at all since your termination?
no, he didn't even call me to be like, thanks for your years of service, I'm really sorry this happened to you, but why would he do that? Because Dale, why did this happen to me? I've given you all these years of great service, I've been a great employee, like why?
Did you ask him these questions at all, or have you just completely turned your eye from him once they fired you?
No, I tried to reach the corporate office, no one ever answered the phone, no one's returned my calls. And the worst part and most sad part is he didn't reach out to me. How does someone work for you for all those years, make you all that money, plus by the reviews, seems like they were excellent, top-notch employee, and you don't even call to see if they're okay? Like, the whole company's trash. They can kiss my ass. I would just like a child.
Okay.
So with the criticizing comments from Richard, do you remember anything specific, any derogatory comments or any specific criticism, aside from the assertions that you think you cut a deal for Miss Ripley? Can you remember any specific harsh words that he used or anything like that?
He just said a few times nothing we do is right. And that's just what really sticks out. But
Just generally critical of everything.
maybe I should have winked back. But I don't know how to wink.
You shouldn't have to.
So that was the thing.
And then, other than the agent who did the contract, are there any other employees at your former office that might be able to tell us observations they made about your interactions with Richard? Any other agents?
Not that I can think of, because the schedule that I had, I mostly would be there with Chris. So again, I mean, you guys can always get Chris on the stand. That way he can tell that this didn't happen, and that he always saw Richard criticizing me and basically told me that I was in shit, and that nothing I did was right. So, and maybe he caught a couple of the winks too. I don't know, but I suspect that he's a big kid and he will tell the truth.
And then the other criticism in your review from Richard was that you spent too much time trying to make work fun instead of working. Do you have any examples of that?
I'm a fun girl. Yeah. So there's that. And I think what he means by that, because he walks around with a stick up his ass, is that I made the environment light
Just kind of a nice place to work.
because nobody wants to come to a stiff environment.
Yeah.
So if I walk in the morning, walk in the morning and see good morning, I crack a joke, I go get my work done. It's not like had a fucking bar there and was like, playing my favorite rap songs. Like, what is he talking about?
Okay. So, and other than that, it just sounds like he thinks maybe you were too friendly with your employees, because I mean, he talked about you try to make things too fun, and you, what was the other criticism? Oh, you don't have leadership qualities. Do you think that he thought you were blurring the line too much? Do you think there was ever a blur of the line between employee and supervision?
I don't. And, do you want a leader that creates a light environment, or do you want a leader
Do you want a
that makes
boss?
you feel like you're on pins and needles all the time?
Yeah.
Seriously, he's a joke.
There's nothing wrong with being a full boss.
Yeah, well, I would rather use the words
For you.
lighthearted, and I created an environment where I was approachable and people felt like they could talk to me, and that I wasn't critical of them, and I was putting them down and making them feel like, they're always 2 seconds from being fired. So, and that's what he considers fun, that's fine. I never really cared about labels.
What do you think Mr. Jackson's response will be to these allegations? If we come and just trying to role play, thinking about how he would respond if we come and make assertions that this was, and we say, look at the track record, and you fired her over one single incident. What do you think his response would be to
I
that?
mean, he has to stand on it now. I mean, it's done. And now I'm sitting in the law firm, so I mean, what is he gonna say? Like, oh yeah, I did lie.
Okay, but he's not gonna. Do you think he would make more lies or come up with anything
Sure, why
else?
not? But I can't tell you anything specific because I was a star employee.
Yeah.
So I can't be like, oh, he might bring this. No, there's nothing to bring up. I was on time.
No disciplinary.
I worked hard. I never had a disciplinary action. I had great sales. I met my numbers every month.
Did your numbers or the office's numbers?
The office's numbers. I met my expectations every month. So.
Did you ever talk to Mr. Carpenter about the way that Richard spoke to you?
No, because Mr. Carpenter is very hands off, and again, it's very hard to get in touch with him when you call his office. He's never there, he's out, or the phone doesn't get answered, or you don't get return calls. So, if you're asking me if I've reached out, I have reached out.
Prior,
But I never.
when he was treating
Yeah.
you poorly. Yeah.
For sure, but I never got a response or a conversation on that.
Okay. And then, did you ever witness Richard criticizing your male employees as much as he criticized you?
I never saw him criticize anybody in the meeting.
Okay.
very targeted.
And then, is there anything else that you can think of that we haven't talked about that you might want us to know going into this?
I'll check my notes real quick, but I think you guys have thoroughly went over things.
Yeah, I'm writing that right now.
No, I think we've been through everything.
Okay. So, sorry.
Do you guys have a human resources department, or is that handled by the individual store members
Yeah, and Mr. Carpenter.
and Mr. Carpenter?
Yeah. Like I said, it's more mom pop ran.
It's very small.
I mean, I thought it was a great company, and I didn't have any complaint about how it was ran when I was there, but apparently it's a horrible company.
I think that it's fair for you to feel that way. It sounds like you were very, very mistreated.
Thank you. Now I'm in the gutter, making some money.
Well, we're gonna fight tooth and nail for all the compensations that you deserve. And talking about that, if you give us the opportunity to, take this case on, I would like to discuss contingency fees.
Mm-hmm.
So, because you're bringing this case to us and we want to represent you, how our fee structure works is the vast majority of cases resolve before going to trial. Under that circumstance, we would take 25% of the damages of the money that is recovered, and we would be forwarding all of the costs. So there's costs associated with filing, there's a variety of costs. I don't think we'll probably won't have to bring in an expert for this, but any types of costs that would come up with running this case, we'll cover those costs because we understand your financial situation is much tighter now than it should be. So we'll cover those and then we'll deduct that out of the proceeds that we recover. If this were to go to trial, that will require more work and bringing in specialists for the actual trial. So the contingency fee would go up to 30%.
Mm-hmm.
Should this case need to go even further for an appeal, if we get a result that's not favorable for you, then our fee to continue on will be 40% what's recovered if we would have to go through an appeal process.
Mm.
Is that, are those terms amenable to you?
I think they're fair.
Okay. Well, then we can get one of our staff members to write this all up. And I think, are there any other questions?
I don't have anything else.
Well, we thank you very much for your time and your interest in our law firm. We'll be in touch. We have your contact information.
Okay.
Take
Thanks so much for
care.
coming in
That's
today.
awesome. Nice to meet
And
you.
you'll be hearing from us soon. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and walk you out.
You have a great rest of your evening.
You
Okay.
guys have a good day too.